So I got that on screen right now. We're going to put it in. I'm going to put captions on so you guys can also... Oh, there is no captions. I'm sorry. Well, I hope you guys know English. This will be fun.
Okay. Yeah, we took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, if Pharrell wears cool glasses, I'll wear one.
For having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me as well.
Okay, hold on. Now we're ready.
I think that there's a huge benefit in writing and producing for other people. I'm pretty sure you may feel that way as well, but it allows me to
Oh, you know what? I just
go to places that I wouldn't go for myself. And as much as it feels like, I may know what I'm doing when I'm doing songs that I'm, featured as a solo artist, some people know, but most people don't know that all of my solo efforts have always been songs that I have written and produced for other people. In fact, when I try to write songs for myself or produce songs for myself, they always are too complex and seem much more like a puzzle than they do, a jam, or like a bop. But I do those for other people. So for me, oftentimes my best stuff is the stuff that I poach back for myself. I don't know how it is for you.
In 2005, I was just an elementary school kid, and I just wanted to be a rapper. As I got to know what's rap, it's basically it's rhythm and poetry. I really felt attractive for this whole genre to send the messages to the world. Actually, it's really embarrassing to answer about all this in front of my idol, but it's really more comfy to, mostly for me, I write somebody's lyrics or the melodies for other artists, not as many as you, but it feels like, it gives me another avatars and characters.
Yes.
Yes, so when it comes to me, it's a complex, and it always comes with the pain, to confess, but it's still the most important part for me.
I can relate to that. I think the pain part for me is probably the fun part.
I see.
That's like some of the most vivid paint that we can use as artists when we're like filling in what we want to be a powerful verse. It's like, okay, does it hurt enough? Or does it feel good enough?
True.
So I understand you there when you say, you inject the pain in your verses to make sure that like, they're strong. I agree.
I was wondering the creative process, how it's different for you yourself, like In My Mind or Girl, or between the songs you made for the others, like the singers or the rappers, or like clips, branding, of course. I just wonder the difference, from the scratch.
So when an artist walks in, they ask for something.
Like a track or idea?
They'll say, I just want something hard, or I want something darker, or I want, something that's like for
Sorry, you know what? It's so funny. So like when they're talking about, look, I'm not Pharrell Williams, I'm not RM, but what they're talking about is so relatable to me on a much smaller scale, because I'm not a superstar artist, but it's relatable to me because I've actually, so me and Alfey and Henny, we produce music, our own music, we rap on it, we create all our own music, and we put it out there. So with that said, we've produced songs for other artists, and we've worked with other artists to make music. And so what they're talking about is so true and genuine, and I can really relate to it because this is the experiences I've had. You'll literally have somebody, and I remember this so vividly because it's happened to us, where somebody will be in the studio with us, and I'll be like, yo, man, make some hard, yo, make some bop, make some vibe, bro. And like, what the, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, it doesn't mean shit, right? Like, that's so generic. But like, that's the kind of the lingo they say. It's like, bro, I want something that's a vibe, something that's popping. So you kind of need to like, as a, how do I say this? Like if you think of them as a customer, you kind of need to pull something out of your bag of tools to make it entertaining for them or enjoyable for them. And then like I'll be on the keyboard, we'll go and find a synth, and then we'll find like a melody. I'll make a chord progression with a synth, and they'll be like, oh, that's the vibe. And then Henny will be on the drums, like, and whatever the beat is, right? And then the person, you'll literally see it in their face. They'll light up, and their heads spinning because now they're like, okay, I got these ideas, I got this. I want to use this hook, I want to say these bars, and that's when you know you've captured, in essence, what something they want or they were asking for. And Pharrell's right, like they come in asking for something. It's very generic and kind of bullshit what they're asking for, but they're asking for something, and you gotta, as an artist, as a producer, as a musician, you kind of have to deliver on that. Some days it works, some days it doesn't, but like it's very interesting.
Club, like,
banger.
You know what I'm saying? A banger, like, and so I'm considering what they're looking for, but I'm also thinking about like the texture of their voice and the patterns and the melodies that they do usually. Then I think about how I can give them something very different than they've ever done before. And so when you mix all of that together, a lot of times, an artist will say, man, that's a little different for me or whatever. And then I'll go ahead and reference it and, sell it to someone else. And then like oftentimes that same person will come back to me and say, man, why didn't you play me that? And I'm like, I did play you that, but they weren't hearing it in that way.
Wow, that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part. But then there are people who jump out the window and they go ahead and try it. Because my whole thing is just try it. We don't have to put it out.
Right.
But, people are so good at what they do. Sometimes they're afraid to explore different parts of their voice, different parts of their personality, and different parts of their career. So, they're a little like hesitant. But for the ones that do try it, they get to experience something new. And look, if we decide at the end of the day it's just not right for them, it's not right for them.
Right.
But you got to hear a different side. That's my favorite part of writing and producing for other people.
Like a challenging.
Yeah, I agree, SK. I agree.
So here comes
with
another
that.
thing.
I agree with that.
I started to listen to music. I mean, like the hip hop music in 2005. I started with the Nas and Eminem. Okay. Of course, the classics.
Yeah.
But as I get to know you, when I first listened to your song, especially, I just want to point out "Take It Off," because that's my playlist, one of the playlists. Whoa, so
that's crazy.
When I listened to it, I even translated into Korean, and I just recorded once when I was an amateur.
Whoa.
So when I listened to it, I just always been wanting to have the frequency, like because you always cross over this. These days, genre doesn't mean anything, but I think at that time, was like, some rappers really criticize the rappers who sing or use the autotunes.
Right.
But I don't know, you started your career as a producer, or so you're like very natural for that. But I always wanted to have the frequency like you. Like, sometimes it's just singing, it could be falsetto, sometimes you rap, sometimes you just sang the hook for the audio artist, like Snoop Dogg. And so when you participate in the song as a player, like.
Wow. First of all, these are great questions.
These are actually very introspective questions, and I kind of love it. I mean, honestly, like, I feel like BTS, like, they hop so many genres. It's like they really can't do anything that they want to. Like, they literally can't. So, like, I'm not surprised when artists are like, damn, we just about to do anything here? Because, like, I mean, how many artists do you know? Like, genuinely, how many artists do you know that can just surf genres effortlessly and make it work? Not a lot, man. Not a lot. It's a tough thing to ask, and sometimes, you know what, it's not even worth it to try because you know you're not going to do well. But that's for another story.
Thank you.
And no one's ever asked me that. Believe it or not. Like, no, I've never had a journalist ever ask me
that. That really matters to me.
So, and that's like no cap. Like, you, believe it or not, no one's, and it sounds like they could have, and because it's such an obvious question, but no one's ever asked me that. So yeah. I'm blown away by that. Everything, I make decisions based off of feeling.
Oh.
I don't make them based off of convention.
I gotta rap, I gotta sing.
Yeah, it's just whatever it feels like it needs. And I'm gonna channel it as best as I can, because I'm trying to tell somebody else who's gonna be better than me to do it. And oftentimes what will happen was artists will be like, nah, we want you to stay on there. And I'll be like, no, but it's for this person. But I channel what I feel like is missing. And I forget that it's gonna be me, because if I think that it's gonna be me, then it won't be as good and I won't be as confident. I'm only confident knowing that I am giving the instruction and the directives to someone else. Like, for example, there's a record that I did with Mystical a long time ago called
Mystical.
Yeah, Shake Your Ass, right? Ooh. So when I did that record, I was thinking like,
these glasses are kind of,
you know, writing wise, Chad and I produced it together. But when I was writing that hook, I was pretending that like Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations could do it. And I remember saying to them, oh man, we're gonna get like, we're gonna get the guy from the Temptations to do it. And they were like, nah, the record company wants you to stay on there. I was like, wait, what? So it was like this weird thing where like I started to realize that was my sweet spot, is when I channel other people and I surrender to what the music needs and not let my ego or my feelings get involved. And then I actually make better decisions, whether it's gonna be me on the song at the end of the day or not. Or another artist. I filled in the blank and given them a different feeling. And oftentimes, sometimes I would be sharp, when I'm singing on there, but it just felt good and we would just leave it.
So I'm not sure if you remember it or not, but we've met at
of course
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah,
do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then, but I didn't want to be aggressive. So I was like, let's just take a photo. But
you were nice.
But I really wanted to. I was like, yo, let's leave. I think we took a photo backstage.
Yeah, backstage in your room, actually.
Yeah, and then like I was working in a studio not too far off, and I really wanted to be like, yo, fuck all of this. No, you know what? Let me correct this, because I don't want your fan base to be mad at me using this kind of language. But man, I was like, I wanted to be like, listen, let's leave here right now and go make some great music, because I just loved everything that you guys were doing. I love your energy and I love what it is that you represent.
Have they worked together? Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Have they worked together? Like BTS and Pharrel Williams? Like, I'm curious now. Because when was this? This was 2 years ago. So I'm curious to know, have they done anything? I'm curious.
And at such a time when our Asian brothers and sisters and fellow Asian human beings that maybe don't identify necessarily binarily in a binary way, the Asian community just been going through so much.
That's a shame that they haven't. I'm so sad that they haven't done that.
The Asian community has given me so much. And I really feel like y'all's energy, you're also showing like artist not just like not just in one specific genre, but I think you're just like also showing people that like, you don't have to be, you can be humble. You guys, your energy is there's a lot of humility that you all vibrate. I think that's a great energy. What people don't realize is like when you have, literally, hundreds of millions of fans, and you encounter them, 20 and 50 and 100,000 at a time.
I can't notice a single face, It's just a mass.
It's
MAS. That's not a.
It's a mass.
It's a mass.
And it is a massive voice, and it is a massive, using that word mass, it is a massive energy coming at you. And you say jump.
And then they jump.
And they jump. And you sing, and they sing every word.
Right.
And you know that you can feel through.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Midnight. Yeah.
Yeah, you and me, the whole club's flooded, you're the only one I'm watching. Oh, come and see, the bottles in the club got both our bodies talking.
I wonder what that must feel like. I'm like, I can't relate to this at all because even though we do music and we have at least a little bit of a decent following on YouTube and stuff, and even for our music, the coolest thing I could honestly say from my own personal life is people recognizing us or knowing who we are. But this is on such another level. I can't imagine. I've always dreamed of it, being able to play a song and just put the mic out and everybody sings it back to you. I've always dreamed of that. That's always been a dream in my heart, in my mind, that day would happen. But I can't imagine because they literally live that. They live that. What is that like? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't even relate even in the slightest to that. No, they're not. Honestly, unless you're in the music scene, you kind of really do appreciate Pharrel. I've been a Pharrel fan since he was at the Neptunes because I really liked early Justin Timberlake music, and he produced Justified for Justin Timberlake, and that was a certified banger, although I do love Timbaland as well. And so I've always appreciated Pharrell, followed Pharrell, especially for his skills behind the scenes. Excuse me. He is underrated. I feel like people don't give him enough respect for what he's done, as a creative, as an artist.
Through their voices, that so many of their lives have been affected and changed because of something that you've done.
Mm-hmm. That's
I don't know how you do that, because I've had a couple songs do that, and then when I get out there and go sing it, that would make me cry because it was too much of a responsibility. Every time I get that close to that size and what I do as a musician, I always step back.
Oh, why? It's is it too heavy?
It's too heavy, man.
Too much?
It's too much of a responsibility. That's why I really revere people like yourself and your band members and other artists like B and J and man, what y'all go out there and go face every night on that stage. It is humbling and it's overwhelming, and sometimes your nervous system got to be built for that.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: how do you deal after you come off the stage feeling electrified and shocked every night? How do you decompress, or do you decompress, or do you purge? How do you do that?
It's my first performing was in front of 10 people in some small clubs when I was 15.
Okay.
And
oh, dude. Oh man, I hate these kind of things because it gives me hope. Because not even joking, when we did our first show as the AfterParty, I'm not even joking. The first show as the AfterParty, we got 20, 25 people, maybe 25 people to come. It was a nightclub. It was our first. Sorry, these headphones are killing me, man. It was our first show ever as the AfterParty. we were super nervous. We spent the whole week practicing, moving around, getting our flow, our lyrics, everything. And we did the show, and it was in this nightclub. And there were 25 people there that were there to support us, mostly friends and family. But it was just an amazing feel. Like, honestly, like, you're so nervous. Like, you're like literally like this. I'm not even joking, like this. And then you finally get on stage, and the beat comes on, and then you hit that mic, and like everything just washes away. Everything. Like, so like him saying, you know, it started with 10 and now it's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000. It like, dude, like I always knew like BTS really started from the bottom, like they really did. But it also just gives you hope. Like, you're like, you know, that could be me one day. That could be me. Like, I can go from 10 people to like, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Travis Scott documentary that was on Netflix a few years back. I think it's still on Netflix. I remember him rapping, and the crowd was like 4 people. And now he sells out shows all around the country. And so it just gives you perspective, man. It just gives you perspective.
I like forgot most of the lyrics. So at that time, I just realized that, I'm not a star type. I'm not a, like a, like these, like a front man and, could enjoy all this shit and just, it's like Kurt Cobain or Mick Jagger. I'm not that type of, I'm just a human just who loves writing music and just, the energy. So every night, like, for example, we had, these stadium shows in Las Vegas last April. Yeah. It was 4, but like every night is a challenge. It's like same set list. It's like maybe the same flow, sort of type, little different, but just like you said, that moment, like after we finished the first 3 beginning songs, and then we, take out the earphones, and then like we just like. We're fucking back. It's like that's like everybody shouting out. At that moment, that's when I really gets all the nerves. And like there's a different me persona for the next 2 hours and a half. But before that, from the rehearsal and even in the plane, I got really nervous and like so responsible because I really am aware of the stories that, fans buy the tickets and they come from Brazil, from Japan, Korea, like from everywhere. They just come there for just that one night. So it me like I have to pay back, I have to give them, I have to offer them the best night ever in their lives. So it's a mess and it's a too much energy. But
see, I've watched a lot of musician interviews over the years, like a lot, because I always wanted to be a musician. And I think a hallmark of a really good artist, or an artist that is genuine, is an artist who's like, listen, it's not about me at these shows. Like, I have people who are paying money, hundreds of dollars, right? They put out a paycheck for this. Some of them have traveled a long way for this night. These next 3 hours are gonna make their year, right? This is it. This is everything, and you have a responsibility to entertain these people the best you can, to give them the best show that you can, and make sure at the end of the night they walk away feeling, wow, I had one of the best nights of my life. And Chris Martin from Coldplay said this, and I found this so profound and so interesting. It was, he said this, he's like, when you go out on these shows, you have to give your best performance. The reason why is because you don't know somebody in that crowd, this is going to be their first live show, or it's going to be the last live show they ever see, right? You don't know. There's like 30,000 people, in that crowd. One of those people, this could be the last show they ever see in their life, and they die. And you're the last piece of entertainment. You don't even know. Mathematically, there are people who have literally gone to a concert and the next day they've died. So the last moments of their life, they got to have some of the best moments of their life. They felt alive. They felt real. They felt one with the music. They felt connected on a deep level. And that's the way they go out. Like, it's a shame people have to pass away, but if there's a way to go out, I think that's probably an amazing way, right? And you meet people from across the world. I literally traveled all the way from Canada to Portugal to watch the Arctic Monkeys live. And when I talked to people in Portugal during that show, they couldn't believe it. They're like, why are you here? How are you all the way out here? Like, you came all the way from Canada for this? I was like, hell yeah. Right? Like, I gotta see this. I gotta enjoy this. And I did. And it felt special. And so I get what they're saying. And I really think it's a hallmark of really good artists when they take responsibility and ownership for their performance and for their entertainment. Because really, we're paying thousands of dollars for this. Right? Our paychecks, hard-earned money. We spent hours and hours working away at our jobs to have money for these kind of things. So when they take that responsibly, it's a good sign, right? Because we work hard for our money, and so we want to spend it wisely, right?
I'm a human, and I really get nervous, and I really sometimes get depressed by, and even, get swallowed by all the energies. But I'm trying.
Yeah, I feel like when you're a superstar like BTS, like, you need to connect with like a 200-person crowd just to feel something again, like just to feel that interpersonal relationship again. Because you're looking at a 30, 40, 100,000 person crowd, man. I can't even imagine.
With it. Because I'm a human and I love the music. I love their love. Because, I think love is really happening when we give somebody, not we receive. We take.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So,
like, I have a lot of love and respect for K-pop artists, but I also have respect and love for Western artists too. I think it's all love. It's all love, right? And there's some really incredible, talented Western artists that really care about their fans and groups. So it's all love.
I think it's more closer to the real love, I guess, personally. So I just want to give them back. They brought us from just a small city in Korea all the way back to the heart of this music industry.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, LA, New York. Me having an interview with Pharrell, it could happen because of fans all over the world. I'm just always grateful, and I just don't want to disappoint them. How do you position yourself? Like, you're a producer, yeah, you may be a rapper, you may be a singer,
Yeah.
you may be a CEO, father,
Yeah.
a husband.
Yeah.
Like, I'm for, of course, the name Pharrell explains everything, but except that, how will you define yourself? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm a public servant first.
Public servant.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that word.
Yeah, and when you serve the public, you're doing
Something for public.
Yeah, and that's God's will. I'm a believer.
Oh, you're a believer.
Yeah, I believe the universe is real.
It's okay. I'm a believer, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't tell anybody.
For me, God is the universe.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the universe. And then, again, being a public servant, being, a father, a husband, and then music is like everything for me, because music's the skeleton key that's opened up every door.
Still music.
Yeah, it's like the center of everything, because without that, I wasn't able to do all the stuff that I'm able to do. And then I definitely have my struggles with having a lack of a sense of purpose, I think.
When? Like,
right around 2005, when I put out In My Mind.
In My Mind.
I just felt like,
right after that?
As soon as it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I mean, culturally, it made an impression, but it didn't do it egotistically. It didn't perform the way I wanted it to, chart-wise. Like, it just didn't do what I was used to at that time, and that really hit me hard. So that made me start to think about like purpose and things having real, true DNA, and not just aesthetic perversion, but like real, true, like meaning, and something that could be meaningful to people, but at the same time still fun. And I've always loved a girl, so. So I understand what that is. I know what it's like to hit that place in your career, and for whatever reason, and you guys are doing fine, but I think, you know, from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, you guys hit a place where you were like, you know, what are we doing? Who are we? Are we who we said we were?
Right.
You know, and you know, as you think about who you are and you think about what you mean and what your intentions are, it's like also kind of determining who you want to be. I mean, how's that feel? Like, where are you in that process right now? Because you're working on a solo record, right?
Yes, like 90% of the work is done.
Okay.
I've released some mixtape as one of the member of the band, but I think it was just like experiments. I think this time it's my maybe.
We listened to a little bit of that mixtape way back in the day, early after parties, and we did check out his music. It was a fantastic reaction to his song. We did it on the live stream, his album. Our stream got shut down. For any of you guys who were in that stream that day, we got shut down, but it's fantastic.
Like maybe my official first solo album.
Okay.
That I could feel enough.
April,
Okay.
I'm
I don't know
jealous
it's gonna be like.
you.
I don't know if I would feel like you after my mind or not, but I think it'll happen after when I release it.
I agree,
So
SK. I definitely agree with you.
Dependent on the time, but it's been just like 10 years after we had our debut as a team. So K-pop is all about the band and the groups. And actually, I told you, I personally started my career as a rapper and as a poet.
Yeah.
So that was the tricky part actually, because the K-pop is like a mix.
Yeah.
It's like the mix of American pop music, all the visuals and the choreos and social medias and stuff. It's really intense and really hectic. So it has some pros and cons of its own. So after 10 years, I think it was not our intention, but we took it. But we actually became a sort of a social figure. So a K-pop band going to have a speech at the UN or meeting the presidents. It's like
I gotta say, that's kind of crazy, man. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I've always wanted to go. So I don't know if I should say this or not. No, I'll say it. It's okay. So I have a degree in political science. That is what I went to university for. I have an amazing fascination and love for political science and politics and international relations and governance and economics. I had a minor in economics as well. And so once your boy graduated from university, you bet that I applied for an internship at the United Nations in New York and in Switzerland. And you bet I didn't get anything. To be fair, those internships are absolutely free, aka you make no money and you get to live in the most expensive city in North America, which is New York City. And you have to pay for everything. They're not going to cover a single dollar for anything. If you're moving from another country, they don't give a fuck. If you gotta get a rental car, whatever, they don't care. They're giving you zero, and you're working 50 hours a week. So good luck having a second job. Anyways, I applied to the United Nations to work there. Didn't get it. I applied a lot of times, didn't get it. So when I go to New York, hopefully one day I get to go see the United Nations building. But it's just cool that I can't believe, that they got to go to the United Nations and have a speech there. Like, that's incredible.
I think I was really confused that I'm what am I, like a diplomat or what? So
Yeah.
I was just a small rapper and lyricist when I was young, from the scratch. So
Yeah, it's definitely an ouch.
It was 10 years, really intense as a team. And I actually was in charge, like almost all of the interviews and, representing the team, like in front of the other members. That was my stuff, I guess, role.
Yeah.
So I think I got really I don't know, like, yo, I gotta stop this for a bit.
Yeah.
I gotta shut it down and just, you know, fall from it away, and then just see what's going on. You know, making my mind really calm down.
Yeah.
And then I think so that's how I got to concentrate on my just solo. And these days I really have been thinking about the 15 when I first listened to you. You know, the first feeling and the vibe and the reason why I started, why I chose music to, you know, for my whole life, I guess. So yeah, when I started my music, I was like 14, and now I'm like 28. So it's like,
honestly, like SK, like, I don't know if you live in a small town or if you live in a bigger town. But man, even for me, like trying to see my favorite artists, I can't do it in the city that I live in because the arena we have is so old and dilapidated. It's ridiculous. So I'm always going to other cities to go watch my favorite artists. It's kind of depressing. I don't know if you're from a small town or what. Nashville. Wait, what do you mean? Nashville is like the most music city outside of like Los Angeles. Like, I know, okay, so I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It is like the Texas of Canada. I'm not joking. It is the Texas of Canada. And so there's a lot of country music here, a lot of country artists. And because of that, like, I know a lot of people that go to Nashville to pursue their dream of being a country artist. There's so many talented country artists. There's so many artists in Nashville. It's like literally the home of country music. Maybe you're not a fan of country music, I don't know. But like, man, like Nashville is definitely a hot spot for music entertainment. That's for sure. Calgary, not so much. Not so much. You'll find other things, but not music. But for international artists planning a world tour, yeah. I that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know. Are you into country music at all? Like, I don't know. Like, if you are or not. Like, do you ever just see like local artists there? Because I feel like there's so many talented, incredible artists in Nashville. I really feel like there is. That's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. None ever come near me. I went to travel and took the train. Not a fan of the country myself. Wait, April, where are you from? I can't remember again. Where are you from? You're not a fan of country music? That's fair. I mean, look, I live in Calgary. It is cow town here. It is literally cow town. Like, every other person likes country music, and I'm not even joking. Everybody here wears goddamn flannel and jeans. Right? This is literally Cowtown. This is literally like the Texas of the North. But I don't like country music. I'm a keep it $1.50, ladies and gentlemen. I do not like country music. But there's no music scene though. There really isn't a music scene. Rhode Island. Okay, so forgive my geography. I believe Rhode Island is by Connecticut and Massachusetts. No? And it's not that far away from New York, the metropolitan New York area, right? So do you go to like Boston to see shows, or do you go to New Haven or New York? I don't know if Albany is a big city in New York. I don't know. What do you do? Yeah, I don't expect anybody to play country out in Rhode Island or like Connecticut. Like, no, I don't expect that at all, actually.
Just the half. It's like, you know, it's like way shorter than you. So I'm in that process. So it's really tricky and confusing, and I just don't know what's going to happen. So if you could give me any advices, because you were in the band, and you are in the band.
Okay, that's fair. So I guess you do get to enjoy like the country music out there in Nashville. I'm glad you're enjoying all the talent out there, you know, because I feel like there's so many talented artists out there that I feel like you'd enjoy it. It's 1 hour, but no, I don't. Is Boston nice? Like, I want to go to Boston. The airline I fly with, we're going to introduce Boston in the summer. And I've never been, but I'm super curious because I love history. And like, Boston is literally the birthplace of the American history, right? there's so many historical landmarks in the Boston, Massachusetts area for how America became one of the 13 colonies to becoming the United States. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Boston a cool place?
You've done the best. It's different from the K-pop, but you've done a lot of projects, like of course NERD, Neptunes, and of course your solo.
Yeah.
So, like any thoughts about
being in the Neptunes, being in NERD, and having a solo record really helped me because it you do one thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then
switch
you take
modes.
A break. Yeah, and it allows me to like put on different hats and put on different masks. So I understand that, and I know like having that departure is going to make it really fresh for you. I think it's good for you to do that because then when you come back to it, to the group,
team.
I think it's going to be, to the team, I think it's going to be super fresh. You're going to have a whole lot of ideas. I would just say continue to move forward, continue to be curious, and don't put any kind of necessary pressure on what it is that you do by saying, no absolutes, like, oh, I will never do music again, or I will never, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just...
No nevers.
No nevers. Just stay along for the ride.
Never say
just keep
never.
Going.
Cruising.
Yeah, and just see where you end up, because it's really interesting.
Thank you.
Nah, thank you.
It was a plus.
Pleasure's mine.
That was really cool, man. That was really cool. I loved it. Balenciaga shades, man. I loved it. That was super cool.